Welcome back to Starladder America coverage. We've only got 2 games left of the group stage here for Starladder Season 10. Thank you for joining us. I'm Zayori, joined by Blaze once more. Now we've got Pain Gaming, a.k.a. CNB, the Brazilian team here in this group stage, facing off against NoT Today, a.k.a. Team Smash, a.k.a. Old Revenge. Blaze, should be another good one. The Battle of South America as these two teams square off.
Most definitely. We're actually going to see Pain in, I would say, their most stable of roster, having Klotz and Pada here and getting the whole gang back together. So excited to see what they can pull
10
out with
seconds
their full
remaining.
strength rather than having stand-ins as that has been plaguing them throughout the tournament.
5
But not
seconds.
today here.
5
They
seconds
are the ones that
remaining.
are really fighting for something. Here is our last day of Starladder America. If not today
Reserve
take this
time.
win, they automatically get at least third, if not second place, which means in the playoff
Radiant
bracket, they don't have
team
to go
pick.
against Evil Geniuses round 1. So that's
Dire
definitely what they want to
team
fight
pick.
for here, and they're going to be searching for that. Well, Pain, they just search for a little bit of pride. They recently picked up the sponsorship. They want to prove themselves, and not today is certainly a team to do so, but do against rather. But yeah, the Lycan Nature's Prophet already shows the emphasis on not today's draft, and Invoker adding in some more summons on top of that. And with Earthshaker banned out, oh boy, Pain are going to have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, they were actually the ones that
10
banned the
seconds
Earthshaker as
remaining.
well, which is a little bit odd. A really good hero for dealing with that
5
Nature's Prophet in
seconds
particular.
remaining.
He tries to Rat Doty, you get your Blink Dagger, you hop in, big Echo Slams, and, well, more often than not,
Reserve
that Nature's
time.
Prophet may take an unfortunate defeat. But they will have some other tricks up their sleeve here. They grab Shadow Shaman and
Radiant
Brewmaster, a
team
good way to get
pick.
things started. And now with the 4th pick, Wisp, to join their Bat Rider. I like this.
Okay. So they're not going to be going for a Tinker play here because Tinker usually gives you the BOT mobility to deal with this kind of push, but they want to give somebody else global presence. They have a hero in mind that is going to give them some good AoE clear, take down all these creeps, no problem at all, and they just want to give him feet. They want to give kind of speed him away across the map to farm
10
up and clear out
seconds
these waves,
remaining.
and then be able to bounce back and do whatever he was doing before. So the
5
global
seconds
mobility I
remaining.
really like. It's going to be great against Furia, and it's going to be great at responding to Lycan. But who do they
Reserve
bring
time.
along with that is the question.
Yeah.
Alchemist is going to be the one that I think of immediately with the Acid Spray, potentially Battle Fury clear. Sven obviously has its merits too. Really, who would you say is the best counter pushing carry? I mean, Gyrocopter is probably the best one that I can
Yeah.
come to mind with.
Yeah, in terms of raw counter push, I think you hit the nail on the head with Gyro. He has a lot of damage early with that Rocket Barrage. Of course, the ultimate does a lot of AoE damage. Then Flat Cannon. You couldn't really hope for a better ability than that in terms of clearing creeps. They may be thinking about Tiny as just one of those
Mhm.
classic staple Wisp pairings and someone that can help them scale a little more, but I think they need to be more focused on the here and now and trying to deal with that mid-game pressure that will undoubtedly come their way. And you'll see Not Today thinking about their options here is that Wisp probably throwing them for a loop a little bit. And even from the Not Today perspective, who do you look to use that final ban on, as there are so many heroes that Wisp could be paired with?
Yeah, I think Gyrocopter is the greatest threat if they're really trying to push the early game momentum for early game aggression. But I'll say, like you said, there's a lot of good heroes that just really pack a wallop behind that symbiotic tether and the overcharge from the Wisp. So that, along with the fact that there's a lot of pickoff potential with the Batrider Lasso, they have a lot of reason to
10
be
seconds
afraid of being
remaining.
singled out. If the Lasso connects, the relocate will follow immediately, and that's
5
just an auto
seconds
kill. They're going to
remaining.
get once every minute, minute and a half, and not today will slowly be drawn behind. So they're going to go for
Dire
more.
team ban.
I don't know if this is more carry. I actually think this might be support. Like right now, with the way that they have their lane set out, I mean, sure, Lycan and Furion could start in the jungle, but I honestly think that they just want to run a supportive Siren here and get some
10
more
seconds remaining.
illusions, more things to play around with on the front line, and of course, the
5
utility of
seconds
things like
remaining.
Ensnare and Song of the Siren.
Yeah, the Ensnare is certainly a lot of utility for interrupting TPs, but the Song of
Reserve
the Siren
time.
gives you just a great reset tool against a Wisp relocate in. As always, Disruptor comes to mind as a good support for dealing with the Wisp. Pain Gaming made that heads-up play to ban him out. And Naga is
Radiant team
another
ban.
good hero for dealing with that, especially if you want to group up and take team fights. If you get caught off guard, as long as Naga doesn't get caught in the lasso and dropped before she can survive long enough to cast the ultimate, that does give Not Today a get-out-of-jail-free card every couple of minutes. Pain Gaming ban out the
10
Mirana,
seconds
afraid of a
remaining.
roaming support duo in the Naga and the Priestess of the Moon, and there is some pretty
5
scary kill
seconds
potential there.
remaining.
Not Today will settle on banning out the Sven, and I think
Dire
he is at least
team
in the
pick.
top 3 of heroes that'll be scariest in the hands of Pain Gaming with a Wisp.
Sure enough, but we have a minute to see what they come up with if they haven't already figured it out. One cool thing the Naga Siren will bring is just this general delay tactic with that song. If you get relocate in, you got 12 seconds to get in, get your job done, and get out. There's going to be the Tiny.
All right.
But if you actually use the Song of Siren right when you see that relocate coming, you're going to waste 7 of those 12 seconds. You can either just walk away or maybe just try to wait until they rubber band back and focus down whoever they were bringing in. Like the Batrider goes in for a lasso, and let's say the Lycan, and the Naga Siren's close enough and sees the relocate. She can song all 3, wait out majority of that relocate duration, and then it's going to turn into a 2 versus 2, or even better if you have more reinforcements coming. So tactically, I like the benefits of the hero. I'm not exactly sure if it'll work exactly how they intend to, but I've seen Mystico's Siren, and it is pretty solid. So as long as that gets follow-up support that can do a lot of damage, as is the Skywrath, I think they're going to be able to do a lot in the lanes.
Yeah, a great hero for the laning phase, like you were pointing out. Really good at zoning folks out, and some good synergy with the Nature's Prophet. No Chronosphere here today, but still the Sprout serves a similar purpose in terms of the smaller engagements and should make things a little easier for Mystico. Tiny is an interesting last choice for Pain Gaming. As we were talking about, Gyrocopter Sven and some of the more cleavy heroes may have been a slightly better choice, and Tiny does have some creep clear abilities in Toss and Avalanche, but not the shortest cooldown, so he'll have that initial bit of burst, but there are a lot of summons they'll have to deal with. Treants in the front lines, you've got the Lycan with Wolves, then you'll have those Forge Spirits in the back, laying in a fair bit of extra damage, and Invoker will already commit to the Exhort with a Null Tally and 2 branches. So Forge Spirits will certainly be something Pain will have to deal with. Tiny's also good at creep clear once he gets really farmed. Of course, once that Ag Scepter comes out, he starts cleaving up a Storm, and once he becomes more of a mid-late game carry, he'll be hard to deal with, but getting there is going to be the difficult part. Now, as we saw in our last match, as Evil Geniuses put out for us, if you can knock down all those outer towers by the first 15 minutes or so, this Tiny just simply won't have enough time to hit that critical mass where he becomes a serious threat.
Definitely. He's going to have to go for pretty much a hard Aghanims rush in my mind. Brown Boots, maybe tier 2, and then you have to get that Ag Scepter out quickly because you're going to need some good clear. Along with that, it's interesting that IO has pretty much bought out in full as far as his current gold. He's sitting on 35, so we're not going to see the early bottle come out to help out Tiny. So not only are cooldowns going to be an issue, but mana substantially. He doesn't even have enough mana to do both spells at level 2 with just the 2 branches. So yeah, we're going to have to see how they try to make up for that. But for right now, it's going to be 1 clarity on the Shadow Shaman, 1 clarity on the Wisp, and that's all they're going to have for the brief laning phase. But as far as the side of NoT, what they're going to be bringing, it looks like it's going to be at the very least an off-lane Nature's Prophet, but maybe a little bit of help from Mystico on this Naga.
Yeah, he'll start in the top lane at least, and maybe just slithering his way around to rotate and set up ganks elsewhere. Even with Justin and Snare rotating mid, that does set up some potential for Smash to grab a kill. Sunstrike and Ensnare pair very nicely. But the Invoker will be solo mid. Down bottom, Masoku grabs himself an Invisibility Rune to get things started, and a little path blocking there on the Dire side of things, and Ewo will be on the Lycan with that first point in Hal to help the global presence. Klotz will be in the off lane on the Batrider, already getting harassed back as Skywrath reveals the Invisibility Rune and does chip away at him a little bit. Boots first on Klotz, so he'll have a slightly easier time in the off lane, but as you can see here, not so great, and he'll struggle to find a baseline of farm.
Yep, so for right now, it's just going to be kind of basic CS back and forth. I mean, the Batrider's not going to be totally zoned out here with just his basic movement speed. He will take some hits here and there, and Masoku will be able to turn his mana into raw damage against Klotz. But in general, the Tangos will allow him to stay long enough, at least until he gets like level 3, level 4, where he can then just rotate into the jungle. So obviously already seeing that those jungles stacked up a little bit. We're going to see some activity, a little bit of harassment up on top. Hada does not have the shackles any longer. Already used them on Mystico, and honestly, Mystico is just really tanky in general when you look at his base armor. 6 armor right here, along with the stout shield, means the auto attacks hit for very, very little, and it's going to be very difficult to keep him off the lane for long.
Yep, and just soaking up that experience, making things less efficient for the Dire side. And Wisp and Rasta, 2 very level-dependent supports. Both of them really want to hit level 6 about as quickly as possible. Wisp in particular, you really want that relocate up so that Tiny can farm and then utilize that taxi service you were mentioning, move into other lanes, set up ganks, and even just assisting kills to get extra golden experience on Tiny and take him right back to the lane to continue farming. So Pada will be the one to roam around and look for some rune control while the Wisp stays in lane and finds some additional support. Once more, Masoku finds a rune. It'll be a double damage, and this could be rough for Klotz. The double damage will end up hurting quite a bit. One more auto attack will bring him down. Sunstrike will be on the mark, just barely, but Smash secures the first blood from across the map.
Very nicely done. Of course, in Smash we trust here on the side of Not Today. They definitely have to make sure they get their money's worth out of him because he is often the one that is destined to carry the team out. So in this position, just getting the nice first blood momentum is going to bring him out the first piece of his Midas.
Wow. Wisp, 0 armor, just gets clicked down. Mihawk, you don't think of that Boots First Nature's Prophet as a hard hitter, but against the Wisp, he does plenty of damage, and Ensnare is all it'll take to secure another kill. Riptide was in the mix as well, but the Ensnare is what really made it happen.
I looked away because I think there's no way that a Wisp should die there. What happened with the tether? How did he not bounce out?
I have no clue. I don't know if it was stuck on cooldown or what, but yeah.
He didn't have it 5 seconds before. He did have it 5 seconds before, but anyways, Mystico taking a lot of damage here, but a nice turnaround. Riptide right-click, bringing down the Shadow Shaman with the Sunstrike. Ned will die again. It's going to be a 2, maybe 3 kills as the right-clicks come through on the low armor Tiny. He is able to tango through. The Stout Shield keeping him alive just barely. But my goodness, if they just run over this top lane, it's a 2 versus 3, but they've now gotten 3 of the kills out of their team's 4. I guess technically Invoker snipes another one up, but nevertheless, setting it up for him. And I gotta say that I don't think that Pain have been positioning in this lane as nearly as effective as they could. The tether should be get out of jail free card against Sprout and Ensnare alike. So the fact that that's been enough to pin him down, it doesn't bode well for how this game's gonna progress.
Yeah, you know, now that you bring it up, I wish I could just like scroll back the replay and see exactly what happened. I was thinking maybe it was out of range, but tether has an absurdly long area where you can use.
The only thing I can think of is that he was too close to his ally, and it didn't actually give him the little jump forward. It actually just applied the buff. They both got so tiny bit of additional movement speed, but he didn't actually get out of jail.
Wow. Well, anyway, Not Today off to a great start. Now Klotz, he'll dive this bottom tower, takes the medallion, and he does get the kill on Lycan, but it'll cost him his life. I guess a worthy trade for him. Finds all that solo XP and gets a kill out of it. That makes him, and gets some gold out of it. Puts him close to level 6, but Masoku will clean up, and now this Skywrath very close to level 6 as well.
Damn. I thought that the Battle Royale might just take this opportunity to go and take out that double stack that was picked up for him earlier, as well as the fact that, yeah, it's actually 2 double stacks, so he could rotate in the jungle perfectly fine, but when you look at his items, he picks up the Magic Wand, the Tangos, the Clarity, so he is going right back down to the bottom lane. He feels comfortable to duel it out with Masoku, now that he doesn't have really a full mana pool at his disposal, and he's going to make sure that this tower doesn't drop anytime soon.
Yeah, top lane, they'll commence a wraparound once more on Ned and King RD. They're already tethered up, and Snare comes out onto the Wisp. Treancer there to boot with the Riptide to lower his armor. Beautiful stun from Tiny, connects on all the units, and that'll keep Wisp alive. They'll turn back around, finish off Mystico. Wisp will still bite the bullet as Mihawk stands his ground. Now he'll just try to TP out. They've got a toss to interrupt it, and it's a 1-for-2 trade. This time, Pain Gaming get what they're looking for, and Tiny survives with a few recovery kills.
40R down bottom. They're going to go ahead and TP the Wisp down, and they've got this Primal Split. It's wrapping around with the smoke. This should be at least a single kill, possibly a double.
Yeah, Iwo caught inside of the lasso. Masoku's here landing the right clicks, but Iwo, he just tanks it up. Now in comes the damage from the Primal Split. He wants to finish off Ned, but he'll move off to the side. Salves up. Will just be a kill on the Lycan to get it started. Masoku now takes the second boulder, and 2 kills for Pain Gaming. So we'll level things out just a little bit here. Glancing at the gold graph, was up to 3,000 in the favor of Not Today already, and has come back down in favor of the Dire. Up top, King RD, he'll get initiated on, and there's a Sunstrike. So once more, Not Today with another response, and even though Pain Gaming have found a little bit around the map, it's still Not Today that are taking the advantage as Smash already has his hand of Midas up. All these kills all stacking up so much for him.
Still, at least 40 hours getting some points on the board, too. He is going to be able to build up his Blink Dagger extremely fast with that double and his first successful Primal Split. There's a lot of games where the Brewmaster doesn't seem to really fit in very well with their early movement, and the result of it is that the Primal Split doesn't get used effectively for the first like 15, 20 minutes of the game. But here we are, 5.5, 6 minutes in, and he gets a double kill with it. So already making things happen. And this is going to be what it's about for Pain Gaming, is syncing up their ultis to make the biggest impact. We're going to see King RD pop out a couple spells, burn Mystico's health away, but they're not able to repel them in full, and they're still going to be kind of setting up shop on this bottom.
Yeah, bottom lane, Klotz almost falls. The sustainability from Ned keeping him alive, and even Ned almost gets taken out as the Arcane Bolt chases him down, but they will both live to tell the tale. Still, Iwo finding a fair bit of farm in this bottom lane, just about 30 CS up on him, and they will start chipping at this tower. Now, I want to mention this item pickup from Tiny. He does go for a raw Midas. No boots, just straight into the hand of Midas. And it is early enough that, of course, it'll accelerate his farm. But as we talked about, Cleave will be the name of the game to really clear up these creeps once Not Today start hitting their stride in the mid-game and commencing the serious push. And I worry that the Midas for Tiny is not really going to kick in and or not kick in soon enough, rather, and will extend this window that Not Today can just take a huge advantage in team fights.
King RD can just build off this and get more and more farm. He can kind of get combo the Midas transmutes with gold that he might get from kills or even a tower. Then that'll be fine, and he'll be able to still get a great timed Agadems. But right now, going in against Mystico, the right clicks are there, but he just goes for the disjoint with the mirror image. And in the end, it's just going to be a 2-for-1. Nagasaran happily trading her life away to just get so much farm on the Nature's Prophet. Mihawk now at 2,500 gold on top of phase boots and bottom lane.
Yep. Down bottom, they just found a kill onto the Bat Rider. We caught that one, and now it looks like the Panda wants to come down for a bit of vengeance. Fortunately now, he's caught in a very sticky situation. Medallion's already online. The creeps have him completely blocked in, and he'll survive for now, but a TP scroll is on the way. Shadow Shaman gets picked off while he's making the retreat. 40R gets out of the block, but now Naga's here, connects with the Riptide, has an ensnare, wants to save it, and we'll end up burning the mana to make it an easy kill. Lycan will secure the last hit with his Woof. All the while, creating space for Mihawk in the top lane, takes down the first tower of the match, and in the mid, Smash soon to claim this Tier 1. Huge burst of momentum for Not Today, though Mihawk will hang around a bit too long in the top lane, buys his Midas before he goes down, so that will mitigate his losses, but Bat Rider does pick up a counter kill.
Yeah, so he doesn't lose anything there. He gets a full Midas plus almost an Oblivion staff. And they, on top of that, are able to pick up the tower in mid. So, yeah, finally they are able to kill him off. Now he's 3, 2, and 4. But the amount of gold he's just been able to accrue in this 9-minute span pre-Midas is just absolutely absurd. I can't wait to see what he can do with the funds once he actually puts them out on the battlefield. For now, it's going to be some Necro play from Smash, and I believe the Nature Prophet may follow suit after the Orchid Malevolence. Obviously, that's what he's going to be going for first and foremost. But after that, a Necro mass strat does seem to be appropriate. Vlad's for now for Ewell, but he'll probably follow suit after the treads.
Yeah, bottom tier 1 tower taking a lot of damage. No glyph available for the Dire side, and Not Today will group up with actually all 5 of their heroes. So this is when the death ball will start. Just shy of the 10-minute mark, they've already got a very nice lead for themselves. 7,500 gold, about 2,000 experience, and they will secure the last tier 1 tower from Pain Gaming. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Ned and King RD are pressuring this tower. Glyph comes out from the Radiant side to buy them some time as they move into the Tier 2. At the very least, this will be a 2-for-1 tower trade, and Not Today getting a huge advantage. King RD, Blink Dagger is at the ready, hiding in the trees. Prime will split up in a few seconds, but Not Today will just go for the high ground here. They've got all these summons. The level and Necro Book has been deployed, still plenty of duration on them, and without a glyph available, Pain Gaming are not really in a great position to hold this. Klotz will get initiated on, Mystic Flare comes through, Lycan will pop the ultimate and just click him down. Already a 1-for-0. Brewmaster way behind, thinking about an opening, but won't be able to find it.
He's cutting right now.
Yep, okay, yeah, he'll pull the creeps out. And top tier 1 did go down, but Not Today. Even though they don't get this tier 3 tower, they'll be happy to do more than half damage to it at the 10-minute mark. Now, can they get out with minimizing their losses? They do have a Song of the Siren, so I see no reason why they can't make a safe retreat, and Pain Gaming won't even really pressure them that hard. Klotz is looking to pursue, but he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. The movement speed from Wisp will help him out, but it looks like it won't be enough to grab a lasso. Stacking up some of the sticky onto Mystico. He's really not too much worse for wear. He's feeling all right about it. And there you go.
Yeah, so the Nature's Prophet Ultimate actually slowed down the Tier 1 push long enough that they did very cleanly get that kill on the Bat Rider without committing hardly anything other than the Mystic Flare. And then, of course, the buyback followed suit. So this Bat Rider is extremely far behind. I can't imagine the last time that I didn't see a Blink Dagger at least projected for about the 13-minute mark. And right now, Klotz is still at 1660 here at the 11.5. So very bad news for him. And also looking back at that Midas, it's kind of starting to help out a little bit, but he's opting for Treads, he's opting for Bracer. These are items that are going to give him a nice mana pool to cast out a couple of spells, but won't put them back in the driver's seat in this game. So right now they're still going to be on the defensive for an extremely long time, and time is just not on their side in general. So the transmutes maybe not going to be that advantageous, although it will counteract the gains that time does give to the Invoker.
Yeah, Tiny now has his power treads, looking for a drum of endurance perhaps with that bracer. His farm is decent, but still not really up to par with how much gold the Nature's Prophet and the Invoker have picked up from all these kills. Invoker is 4-0-0, and the Nature's Prophet is 3-2-4. He's been involved in half of these kills, although it looks like Mihawk will suffer an unfortunate fate as he walks right into a lasso. They've set a trap, and they will secure a kill there with a 3-hero rotation. Though in the mid lane, looks like Not Today will group up and go for a potential gank. There is a relocate available from Ned, so this won't be easy unless they can find a silence. And nope, they'll be able to walk back to safety. So just a free pick on the Nature's Prophet. Steps in the right direction for Pain Gaming, but they'll need a hell of a lot more than that, Blaze.
Yeah. They have a lot of great abilities to cancel out the relocate. So unless Ned is in an extremely defensive position, he's still gonna not be able to accomplish what he needs to do. So he's staying back now. He'll jump in if Tiny or Panda do need his help. But for now, it's gonna be the tower that's left helpless, and it is gonna be dropping down very quickly. Roche is now extremely exposed for Not Today. They can take that down without too much trouble. The only thing to contest it really is Klotz, but since he burned that lasso on that kind of pincer formation on the Nature's Prophet that was already getting hexed, the end result is, oh, they almost got him. The Wrath of Nature plus Sunstrike actually almost doing enough, but no, he does walk away, and he does get that blink. Still, I don't think it's in time to defend this tier 2. They just have so many summons. This thing drops so quickly that they'd have to collaborate everything, to relocate, the fortify, and bring everybody to fight it if they even want to hold this outer tower. And I just don't think it's worth committing all those resources when you know that the tier 3s are next.
Yep, it looks like Pain Gaming will once again go for a tower trade, bottom lane. King RD and Whisper here, so at least Ned can relocate him back once Not Today move towards the high ground, which I'm pretty confident they'll go for. They did it last time. They did significant damage to the tower, and really no reason they shouldn't do it again with all of their big ultimates available. And Song of the Siren, well, Wrath of Nature isn't, but Song of the Siren is the big one. Even if they get in a little too deep, they'll have that reset tool that we've talked about quite a few times. Now we'll see Pain Gaming in a position to defend. All 5 heroes are back. Pata is level 8, so there are Mass Serpent Wards available to try and help make this hold. But the Glyph was burned on the tier 2, which means they won't have it here as they knock on the front door of the base. Creeps get cleared up pretty effectively. 500 damage on the tier 3 tower. Still ain't too shabby for Not Today, given that they did just trade a tier 1 for a tier 2.
Yeah, so they're trying to pull back. They really need a little bit more, though. Right now, it's the drums. It's fine, but they need to just enhance this farm to the point that I would almost say this double stack that's in the central part of Pain's jungle, the Tiny should just cut 2-spell combo that, because even though the Bat Rider that's probably what it was intended for, the Tiny just needs more. He is as greedy as he can get, because otherwise he just won't be online in a relevant capacity. But they see this stack, and I think they're just going to meteor it down. Riptide Meteor, and this thing's gone.
Yeah, this is a nice triple stack now. They stacked it up once more, and they might not even need the Meteor. They'll actually roll the dice a little bit, hope that they don't get caught out as the double damage is on Invoker, makes right-clicking them pretty simple. And, well, there you go, Blaze. That little bit of farm that Tiny could have had is now evaporated and gone the way of the opposition. 12,000 gold, only 2,000 experience, but a pretty significant gold lead, giving a huge item advantage to Not Today. Hand of Midas and 2 Blink Daggers on the dire side. Tiny will start moving into that Aghanims with the point booster now in tow. But we see a Vlad's offering medallion, soon to be BKB on Ewo. Mihawk with 2,000 gold, and he's got his Orchid Malevolence. That's a level 3 Necro Book on the Invoker, and even the support Naga Siren not really hurting in the farm too much. Her and the Skywrath both have Arcane Boots, and also an Urn on top of that. There's your Blink Dagger coming out on the Prophet.
Yeah, in this position, he's just going to be able to constantly jump in and silence out at least one major target they can pick off pretty easily. They're going to look for Ned. I think that's actually a pretty important point of focus, is to bring down the little baby Wisp. Even though he isn't like the damage dealer, he's the one that keeps the damage dealer alive. If they can bring down the Wisp, the Tiny will be really easy pickings. And it's just going to be about finding their vision, finding target priority, and bring them down. We'll see Pata dropping down a few sentries, just trying to get control back over their side of the map, and they will accomplish just that. But I don't know, even if they don't get the opportunity to flank to gank you with this Aegis, they might just be able to death ball. No snipe coming in for the Bat Rider does kind of get in position to try it, but nobody else is there to back him up.
Yeah, Lycan will be the one to grab the Aegis, and now Not Today. I think you're right. I think they can probably just do a 4+1 here and do 4 heroes in one lane and put Mihawk in the other, go for a bit of split pushing. Pain Gaming do have the resources to hold high ground in that choke point in a straight-up 5v5 engagement with Rasta wards, with all of Tiny's damage. I think there's some potential there, but dealing with split push is not something they're super equipped for, certainly right now, while they're still quite underfarmed. As Mihawk stays in the top lane, does drag some of their attention. The rest of them will rotate down towards the bottom and just move straight into the base. Pain Gaming not in a great position here to defend. No glyph once more, and they're caught completely unaware. Tier 3 tower goes down. Klotz will start laying down the fire, but he needs to be careful. Last time, we remember how it went, and he just got picked off. His buyback has cooled down and does have enough gold for it, but they'll just lose racks. Pain Gaming not in the right position here. Primal Split comes out. Now they'll pick off the Shadow Shaman off to the side as the Mystic Flare flies through. Mihawk in the front lines will be the first on the Radiant to go down. Song of the Siren deployed, but those Primals, they're immune to it, and they'll press forward right onto Masokyu, but they bring down the Earth Panda. Now he's killed by the Radiant, and Pain Gaming in deep, deep doo-doo. King RD taking big damage from that Skywrath Mage. He'll fall. Buyback from the Brewmaster, tries to get back into the fray, but will it be enough? Lasso now comes out onto Ewo. He'll take a decent amount of damage, but still holding on to his Aegis of the Immortal. They'll zone out the heroes, and now they can just finish off these ranged barracks and maybe even look for another kill. Pain Gaming will be respawning very shortly. They're all decently low level, but now Klotz caught inside of the ensnare. The meatball flies down, and that'll bring him down. Pot is respawned. Still has Mass Serpent wards, throws out a Hex, but he's just so hesitant. Will keep the wards off cooldown for now. Buyback from the Bat Rider as 4DR hops forward, connects with a Thunderclap. Wards will finally come out, but the mech on Naga Siren will keep him alive. Pata procs the Aegis of the Immortal, but will get finished off by Wolves. Mystico in pretty deep. We'll just try to pull aggro off the Lycan so that he can make an escape. 4DR not letting that happen. Connects with another Thunderclap. Looks like Ewo will get picked off as he tries to make the retreat. But not today, still with a huge victory there. They get the bottom lane of racks, take a big team fight, and force 2 buyback.
Yeah, I mean, this is when they're back up against the wall, and they don't even have the resources to continue to answer this. One more fight like that, with or without Aegis, and NoT have this game. It's down to the midnight hour.
Relocate coming in. Actually has the lasso on to Smash. Maybe they'll turn it around here. The power of the Wisp, ladies and gentlemen. Bat Rider still goes down. Smash looking for a counter kill on the Wisp. It's a 2-for-1. The Invoker gets off his Necro Book and a fresh set of Forged Spirits before he falls. And 4DR on the retreat will take a fair bit of damage, even using a Hex on the Necronomicon Warrior. Oh boy, look how low Pata is just from these summons alone. This Archer getting him damn close to death. Now Mystic Flare comes in on the 4DR. Necro unit, will it be enough? And
Mihawk in the back, he just teleports in, kills off the Shadow Shaman, now he's going for 40R. He blinks out. The base is no longer safe, my friend, but he can't escape. Masoku will be able to get another spellcast on him. He keeps getting vision for a brief moment, but the right click comes through from Mihawk. Kill secured. So they go in now. I was talking about how they actually were able to de-ward and keep their jungle safe, but now you look at the wards in the enemy base. Mihawk actually getting hit out by the Avalanche. Couple right clicks coming through. The drum to pursue, but he's caught outside the Sprout. Ned with the balls is not going to be enough. Oh, the Spirit's one spirit away from the death, but Mihawk survives, and he's just going to be coming right back into it in about 10 seconds. Now, one quick thing before the next push ensues. Sorry to those in Dota TV. I have heard your cries out on Twitter that there is somebody in the Dota TV channel. If you can even hear me at all, yes, there's somebody playing music. No, we don't have any control over it, and we can't do anything until the game is over. But we will make sure the admins are that much more astute about making sure that nobody is going to be invading our channel from this point forward.
How dare you invade Blaze's territory, you spotty dog. But here we go. Egg Scepter is up on Tiny. Is it enough? I'm not so sure. We'll see Bat Rider. He gets caught as soon as the fight starts, and King RD, he's got the Whomping Willow, but it's just too little too late, Blaze. The BKB is now up on Ewell. He'll just go man mode on Tiny. He does get relocated out. But, I mean, like you said before, the base is no longer safe. Pain Gaming are sort of cornered back into the well, and there will be a relocate from the Wisp coming right back here. They'll bring the Tiny. It just ends up being a hop forward. Pata gets killed off to the side there. And now Ned pressing forward, moves into the trees. Nowhere to go. That's a sad Wisp. And he will finally go down. King RD and 4DR coming out, looking for a kill on Mihawk. 4DR chopping him down with the flail, but there's the Force Staff to safety. The positive earn. They'll get completely cleaned up. It's a full team wipe. And there you have it. GG. Well played. Not today. We'll take another very dominant victory here.
Yeah, so great momentum forward, and this is exactly what you expected from the draft. Getting the Lycan Nature's Prophet opener and not getting enough in terms of counter push. They're not able to hold the line long enough, and the GGs, they are out. But it looks like we're going to see a little bit more blood spill before the Ancient does indeed fall. So, yeah, this has just been a really back and forth one as far as these last little moments, but as a whole, the game was just dominant force from this push strategy. Very well played from Not Today, and that actually secures them at least third place. We'll have to see our last game of the day to see if they're going to be second place or third, but in either case, they're not facing EG in round one, which is good news for them.
Yes, absolutely right. And that start, just about an ideal scenario for Not Today. Smash getting a couple of good Sunstrike snipes, and that just set him off to get a super fast Midas. And once that ball got rolling, there's not much slowing him down. So we'll have another decent break here, guys. A quick game as the pushing commenced. Our final match is scheduled to start in just about 40 minutes, and it will be a pretty decent matchup. As Blaze has pointed out a few times now, seeding is on the line. No longer elimination. We know what the top 4 teams will be, but we don't quite have a handle on the seeding. It will be Navi US versus SNA, and these two American teams have, I don't know if rivalry is the right word, but a long history across the players on both sides of the squad. So should be a good one, and we'll be back after this break to bring it to you guys live.